Could you imagine being forced to move away from your home and forced to march through a harsh winter with a shortage of supplies? Well, this is what happened during the Trail of Tears. Indians were forced to move to Indian Territory. The Trail of Tears was a huge step for the United States, but was a tragedy for the American Indians. The Trail of Tears was a difficult journey that 5 tribes took during their forced removal, which occurred during the 1830s through the 1850s. The removal of the American Indians started before the Trail of Tears, which started during the 19th century. The Trail of Tears started after the removal of the Indians during the Indian Removal Act. The Cherokee Creek, Choctaw, Chickasaw, and Seminole Indians were the 5 tribes being forced out of ancestral lands and marched to Indian Territory, which is now present-day Oklahoma. The Trail of Tears was a very harsh journey, and many Indians suffered during the travel. The Trail of Tears happened for a reason. In the 19th century, Europe held land in the western continent. The United States felt threatened by Europe. American settlers were wanting to expand the United States westward at the time. So, Thomas Jefferson created the buffer zone between the United States and Europe holdings. This let the United States expand from the original colonies all the way to the Mississippi River. To make things worse, there was gold found on Cherokee land, and that wanted the American settlers to remove the American Indians and take over their land. Once there was gold found on their land, Georgia held lotteries to give gold rights and Cherokee land to whites. Another cause that caused the Trail of Tears was when the American Indians lost against the United States during the Creek War of 1836 through 1837. Around 14,500 Creek Indians were angry that they had to be forced off their home grounds and marched west. During the 1830s, thousands of American Indians lived on millions of acres of land in Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, North Carolina, and Florida. This land was owned by American Indian ancestors for generations, and the American Indians saw this land as their home. Tribes located between the original states and the Mississippi River signed 40 treaties ceding their land to the United States. Andrew Jackson, who was president at the time, set a policy to relocate American Indians between the original states and the Mississippi River. During the 1830s, the Congress passed the Indian Removal Act, which gave the government power to relocate any American Indians from east to land west of the Mississippi River. The journey was over 1,000 miles and lasted for weeks. There was a shortage of supplies such as wagons, horses, food, and other supplies. Due to the shortage of supplies, it made this 1,000-mile journey a lot harder. During the journey, there was a surprising harsh winter that plagued many Indians. Hundreds of Choctaw Indians died. For other Indian tribes, disease and malnutrition was another huge problem during the journey. Several hundred Creek Indians died during the journey, and 3,200 Indians died from disease. Once the Indians reached Indian Territory, disease was still a problem. 500 Chickasaw Indians died from smallpox. The Trail of Tears caused change in various ways. After the Trail of Tears, the American Indian population went down. The American Indians' ways of life and societies were changed. Also, the United States got to expand from the original colonies all the way to the Mississippi River. This expansion allowed the United States to get more resources. The United States got the ability to expand the United States, which made a major difference in our country. It allowed us to become a bigger country. The Trail of Tears mostly had a drastic effect on the American Indians, but caused major changes in the United States.